Hey everyone, Clay from Brooklyn, football with the fellas. It's all about Big Blue. Here with another, guess what? Mock Draft Monday. Yes, sir. So obviously, the hiring of Coach Harbaugh and his various and sundry assistant coaches from the Ravens' former staff got us all pumped, got us all excited. So he's going to come with a different approach. I know he does things a lot differently than we've done them here for a while. And I think I'm going to try and anticipate some of the things he might do in the draft with my mock draft today. So this is a combination of things. This is a little bit of what I think Coach Harbaugh would do, and shout out to my man Mazo. It's also a little bit of what I think he wants to do, uh, and less so what I necessarily would have done myself. So I'll just show it to you. Here's what I got out of the draft. I wound up trading back with Baltimore. I traded down to 14. And if you take a look, what I got was I got their 14th pick and their second round pick, pick number 45. And then I got their first round pick next year, but I had to give them our second round pick next year. So we wind up with two firsts next year, but no second in exchange for our fifth overall pick. So again, I traded our fifth and next year's second for their 14th, their 45th, and next year's first. And I think that's, not unreasonable. And what did I do? Well, the way the draft played out, Mendoza went first, then Keldrick Falk, excuse me, went to the Jets, Arvell Reese, Carnell Tate, and with that fifth pick, they picked Ruben Bain. So the algorithm gave them Ruben Bain, Jordan Tyson, Caleb Downs, David Bailey, Jeremiah Love, Caleb Lomu, Jamard McCoy, Spencer Fano, and Francis Marinoa went in the first 13 picks, and then it was our pick. And I went with a pick that I'm pretty sure Mazo's going to love, which is Makai Lemon, the wide receiver from USC, who is a beast. He is quite honestly kind of similar to Malik Neighbors in the sense that he's not the biggest guy. He's like 5'11, 195, but he's very elusive, runs great routes, very good yak after the catch. He's really great in open field. And I think that although I would have rather had a kind of a bigger, like classic X type of wide receiver opposite Neighbors, listen, I ain't mad at you if you're going to give me, two Neighbors types receivers. That's not a bad thing at all. So, and I think that Harbaugh would like that. I think Harbaugh, if Harbaugh has any kind of regrets about his time in the Ravens organization, aside from the fact he only got one ring, I bet it's that he never did really get that great pair of wide receivers at the same time, which I think looking back on it might have gotten them over the top. He's had some great defenses. He obviously had Lamar. He's had Derrick Henry. He's got Zay Flowers. Like he's got some weapons. Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely, but a pair of really good wide receivers is not something that they had there. And I have a feeling that he wouldn't mind having that here. And that first pick, Makai Lemon, would certainly, on paper anyway, give him that. In the second round, I took the what I think is the second best safety in the draft. Obviously, Caleb Downs is considered, like a stud, and he went early. But Emmanuel McNeil Warren out of Toledo is a big body. He's like 6'3", 210 pounds safety, who a lot of people are seeing as the number two safety in this draft. I don't even know if he lasts to 37, to be honest, but I was happy that he did. I have to say, though, it was hard for me to pick him because I really wanted the guy who I wound up getting at 45 anyway. So I rolled the dice and said, I bet he's going to still be there at 45. And he was. So Max Iyenanker, I hope I'm saying his name right, uh, who played right tackle all week at the Senior Bowl and in the Senior Bowl game and looked really good. I mean, he is a big man. He looked very nimble for a big man, was pulling and leading sweeps, looked very powerful in the run game, especially with the double team blocks. He just really seemed to have a good sense of how to work with the right guard and then climb to the second level after that block was established on the defensive end, or in some cases outside linebacker, or in some cases defensive tackle. He really just looked like a beast in both the pass protection and the run game. He anchored down in the pass protection very well. Nobody got around him uh, uh, from the edge. So I really like him, and I thought maybe I should take him at 37, but I rolled the dice because I really wanted a safety because Tyler Nubin is terrible. You know how I hate Tyler Nubin. Not personally, he's not a bad fellow. I don't know, but he's a bad football player. So we need to improve at safety, and we did, and then we were able to still get Max Ionacker, and that made me really happy. The next pick is another guy who I think probably doesn't last this long in the actual draft, but he was there, so I took him, which is inside linebacker Jacob Rodriguez from Texas Tech. I'm really a fan of his. Um, and I doubled down on that and took with the next pick, inside linebacker from Oregon, Bryce Betcher. Both of these guys are just tackling machines. They just really play football well. They're smart. They show a ability to do their job, fill their gap. And gap integrity has been a problem for us uh, at the inside linebacker position last year. And having two guys who I know will do their job and make the tackle, they don't miss tackles very often, really made me happy. So no matter what we do in free agency, and of course, you know, I'm hoping we're going to sign either Devin Lloyd and or Leo Chenal. You know that I'd be more than happy and willing to move on from Bobby Okereke, but if he's the second best inside linebacker, like if we sign one of those two guys and keep him anyway, I guess that would be fine. But I would be happy for Bobby Okereke to be gone, saving that cap space, etc., and to replace him with one or both of these guys, whether or not we sign Devin Lloyd or Leo Chenal. Having a lot of really good linebackers is the Giants' way and is, I think, the key to most really good defenses. If you have really, really good linebackers, that can make up for the first and third levels of your defense being a little bit less than great. Okay. Then I went with Marcus Allen. No, not the USC/Raiders running back, but Marcus Allen, the cornerback from North Carolina, in the sixth round. Very athletic, uh, great name. Not saying he's going to be a Pro Bowler, but he looks like someone who can contribute in our cornerback room, and we definitely need someone to step up the game in our cornerback room, especially if we don't bring back Cordell Flott, but even if we do. Then I took two more players that I think people are sleeping on. Caden Curry and Jimmy Rolder are just good football players. They, much like Jacob Rodriguez and Brian Betcher, they're just good football players, and I think that Harbaugh is going to like that. Caden Curry played the edge for Ohio State, and it seemed like he just was around the ball all the time, making big plays when they were needed. He's not the most athletic fellow, and he may wind up more of a situational pass rusher slash special teamer in the pros. Fine, but he's a really good football player. Again, doesn't miss a lot of tackles. If he gets his hands on you, you're going down. Um, does his job, fills his role, sets the edge. I like him a lot. Jimmy Rolder was an inside linebacker for Michigan. Again, not the biggest fellow, not the strongest, not the fastest. He's just around the football. So between Jacob Rodriguez, Brian Betcher, Caden Curry, and Jimmy Rolder, I really feel like, at least one or two of those guys are going to contribute significantly to our defense. And I think that that's what Harbaugh's looking for. Good football players that play sound, fundamental, gap integrity football and don't miss tackles. And then the last pick, who I'm almost certain isn't going to last this long after this week at the Senior Bowl, is Malachi Fields. And I'll be honest, I didn't even know he was still on the board, or I would have taken him at 184. It's funny. I was looking through the board and I saw Caden Curry's name. I said, "Oh, I'm taking him. I like him." I saw Jimmy Rolden's name. I said, "Oh, I like him. I'm taking him." And then Malachi Fields popped up after that, like he was, I guess, off the first page. And so I was like, "What? Malachi Fields is still here?" So I couldn't wait to take him. I normally take punter Brett Thorson from Georgia with my last pick. And I was about to do that until I saw Malachi Fields' name. And I said, "You know what? All right, fine. Then we'll just have to hope that Brett Thorson doesn't get drafted and we can bring him in as an undrafted free agent." In any event, so this is who I got. And as you see, I got the first round pick from Baltimore next year, as I mentioned, in exchange for our second round pick. So we have two first next year. And Makai Lemon, Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, Max Ionacker, Jacob Rodriguez, Bryce Betcher, Marcus Allen, Caden Curry, Jimmy Rolder, and Malachi Fields. Welcome to Mock Draft Monday. That's what I did, but I'd love to hear what you think about what I did. So please drop me a comment. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. But Mock Draft Monday, that's what we do. So let me hear what you think about it. Again, Clay from Brooklyn, football with the fellas. It is all about Big Blue. And I'm out.